You know, cellulite can affect any type of woman. Most women, in fact, develop some cellulite after puberty, and it's not weight related. That's the first thing, okay? This isn't about the skin or even the fat. The solution actually is something that most people miss, especially the cosmetic industry, and that's what we're going to be digging into today. Because some of you may not know, I worked in the cosmetic industry for 10 years. I travelled globally. I worked in Asia and Japan. I was trained in Japan. I have a really deep understanding of the skin. Not only that, I've worked with dermatologists. I've had leading dermatologists as my clients that I've trained, and we've talked about this a lot. In fact, in Panama, one of my main clients was the leading dermatologist there, who did a whole range of treatments, and often all around cellulite. So I've had first-hand experience. I've trained clients that have had different cellulite treatments and saw the results. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to get a little bit scientific on it, all right? So just stick with me, because it's really important that you understand the physiology of the skin, all right, and the body, so we can understand the solution, right? Instead of like just getting confused and kind of drawn into all these fad answers and very expensive solutions that are being offered by the cosmetic industry. And the word cellulite, in fact, is a fairly recent word, and it's not a medical word. There's very scientific, complicated words for cellulite, but cellulite was developed by the spa industry in the early 1900s to describe treatments for the dimples, bumps and shadows, all right? And it's really interesting because I've spent a fair bit of time studying this, and even in the medical world, as a trained professional, in fact, on specialising on the skin, I found that it's not easy to find solid scientific information about what's really going on. So I've broken it down for you today. So we're going to jump in first. Let me just summarise. I've got some notes here today to help me. This is what we're going to be talking about. What is cellulite? So I'm going to be giving you a little science lesson, okay, so stick with me. The influencing factors, the things that influence cellulite, the treatments, okay, I'm going to be overviewing the treatments because I know a lot of you had questions about that, and the solution, all right? So let's jump into what is cellulite. So a mistake that a lot of people make, and I've got a little diagram here, and I'm prepared. I'm not really an artist, but I put this together for you. Now, this is healthy skin. Now, what the problem is with understanding cellulite and treatments is a lot of people focus on the skin, which are these two layers, and I'm going to describe that to you. It's not a skin problem. Here we have the fat layer, and there are some treatments that focus on the fat layer, but the real solution lies in deeper down in the muscle layer, okay? So I'm going to take you through this now step by step. At the top, we have the epidermis, and this is the very top layer of your skin, and that renews itself every 28 days. So there are topical things you can do to improve your skin. Exfoliation, moisturizing. These things are working on the surface and they're temporary. The next layer down is your dermis. And see these little squirrely things? These are the collagen and elastin fibers that give your skin the elasticity, all right, and support. They're like the little springs of the couch. And what happens is as we age, the collagen and elastin start to deteriorate and they start to harden. And so it's like that old couch, right, or the old mattress. It's really lumpy. Your skin isn't as firm and as taut and as springy as it used to be, right? So this is why it's really important to have lots of antioxidants in your diet, because you're going to be nourishing this layer and keeping your skin really healthy and springy. I can see tons of people jumping on. Marianne, Susan, oh my goodness, Susan's starting week 4 of Get Lean. Awesome. Thank you so much for posting. If you're on the program, post and let me know how you're going and let the others know how awesome the program is as well. So let's keep going. Here is the subcutaneous layer, okay? Now this is the fat layer. All right, now they're really important. I want you to focus and concentrate right now with me. Hang with me, right? Now, see these little chambers? We have these chambers here, and these chambers are created by the septa, S-E-P-T-A, septa, all right? And these are protein fibers that create these chambers, and these are all the little fat cells here, all right? So in the subcutaneous fat layer, which is the surface fat layer under your skin, you've got these sections, right, where the fat cells live. underneath you have the supporting muscle, all right? And the supporting muscle is the foundation, what supports, firms, tones, and shapes your body. The fat layers, as we know, is like the cushion and the insulation layer, right? Okay, so this is what healthy skin looks like. Now, something really interesting, I've got a picture here of a male and female skin. So this is the male fat layer, and this is the female fat layer. Can you imagine? It's really different, right? And it's really freaking annoying because men have these cross sections in the subcutaneous fat layer. This is the septa, and they're forming these intersections, so the fat is contained in little containers, right? So we know that men are less prone to having cellulite. One, yes, they have less body fat, but two, their subcutaneous fat layer is very structured and it's holding and controlling the fat. Whereas in women, we have these like cylinders, right? And what happens is, here we go, here's the exciting bit, is cellulite. So all of a sudden, here's what's happening. So you can see, here is healthy skin, right? And here's the cellulite. And of course, we know that we've got these undulations, right? We've got these depressions in the skin. And this is how the dimples and shadows form, okay? Because the light is reflecting off these imperfection areas. So here's what's happening in the fat layer, all right? Instead of having nice, even, here we go, nice, even fat cells, all the same size, we start getting these engorged fat cells. Now, some fat cells have the ability to take in a lot of fat and become really engorged. And what happens is, because we have these cylindrical what do we call them, containers in the subcutaneous layer, where do they go? So they start to push up against the surface of the skin. They also push down against the muscle layer. This is really important, and this is at the crutch of the solution for cellulite, okay? So what's happening is that this starts to be pushed up and we get these undulations. So we get this unevenness in the surface of the skin. Now, there is a reason why these cells become engorged, all right? So I'm going to go through that now. The factors that predispose or make cellulite worse. So this is going to make a lot more sense to you, and then we're going to come back to it. So now we're on to, we've had a look at what cellulite is. We know that it is in the surface fat layer of the skin, and it is in large cells that are pushing up against the surface of the skin, making it uneven, all right? So let's have a look at the influencing factors. So the first one is aging and genetics, all right? So I had a question, actually, who was it from? Let me have a quick look. This was from Charlie. Charlie in London said, Belle, I'd like to know if cellulite is hereditary, and do we inherit it from our mothers? And if so, can we ever get rid of it completely? So there is a certain amount of genetics involved, hereditary. Like my mother has it, I had it, okay? But I got rid of it, right? So it's more the factors that are disposing you to, okay, this distribution of body fat. Our genetics kind of, you'll notice, like as women, we tend to accumulate it in the lower body, but some accumulate it more in some areas than others, and those areas are more prone to cellulite, okay? But it doesn't mean you can't get rid of it. So that's the first thing. Also, as we age, okay, our skin thins. The surface of our skin becomes thinner, especially as estrogen drops. That's why you notice little fine lines and wrinkles, you notice sagging, okay? This is the aging process. And as the skin thins, it becomes more vulnerable or more prone to showing the unevenness in the fat layer underneath, right? You with me? You're holding in? You're following me? Give me some loves and likes if you're loving this, and it helps to reach more people when you give those little likes on the iPad or the phone or whatever you're on. So the next thing is toxins, all right? Now, this is a big one, right? I used to live on sugar, and it showed in my body, right? I had horrendous cellulite. And so the thanks for all the loves and likes, everybody, and I'll be getting to your questions, so stay there and send in your questions. So the toxins are a big contributing factor, and here's why. Fat stores fat fat-soluble toxins, right? Now, when you have toxins, whether they're sugar, alcohol, or chemicals like food preservatives, okay, or chemicals in your environment, your liver tries to break them down into water-soluble so that they can get out of the body. But that's not always possible if you have an overload of toxins. And your fat layer is like your protection for your body. And those excess toxins, the fat-soluble toxins, are stored in the fat layer, all right? So what happens is, we're getting these engorged, enlarged fat cells, right? Am I making sense? Give me loves and likes if I'm making sense, all right? I'm trying to walk you through this. It's actually really complex, and I tell you, you're not going to find this anywhere on the internet. You'll find little bits of information, but I've done a lot of research and a lot of years and putting this together for you in a way that's easy to understand. So hang with me. Next, we have circulation, all right? Circulation and hormones. The reason being is that here into the subcutaneous and muscle layer is all of our blood circulation and lymph. Now, blood brings the nutrients, okay, into the skin, all right, and the lymph system takes away the toxins, right? This is really, really important for healthy skin. That's why exercise is important. That's why massage is important. Body exfoliation, because it stimulates the circulation, all right? So when you have good circulation, you're going to be able to bring lots of healthy nutrients up to have a healthy skin and take the toxins away, right? So really important. And of course, as we know, our circulation declines as we age, right? So the next one is body composition, and this is the big one. Our body fat percent versus lean muscle mass, all right? This is really important because the muscle layer, as you can see here, see this, is what's supporting the subcutaneous fat layer. And when the muscle layer is firm and strong, you're going to have a flatter, more even subcutaneous fat layer, which means a smoother, more even surface of the skin. All right, so this is now coming into the solution. But first of all, I want to go through some of the treatments that are out there, all right? Shall I jump in and have a look at your questions? I see we've got heaps of people on. Let me have a quick look. I've frozen. But I hope it's working back now. Michelle, Sharon, Michelle from London, Jennifer, hey Jen, great to see you. Rianne, Abdul, Jenny, Susan, so awesome. Okay, let me just have a quick look. Susan said, for anyone out there who's always struggled with weight loss, please try this program. I'm 44, I've always struggled with yo-yo weight loss, and this is the first time I feel I can do it and maintain with support from Belinda. Much love, Belinda from Belinda. Oh, thank you, Susan, that's so sweet. I really, really appreciate those words of encouragement and support. So, let's see. Nikki, hey Nikki, great to see you. Manda, thank you. Yes, their inspiration, I appreciate that. So let's get on to what do we got here, the treatments, all right? Because I'll tell you what, and this is one of my pet topics, right? Because you know, when I lived in Panama Central America is known as a cosmetic surgery, one of the cosmetic surgery capitals of the world, okay? Being a third world country, they have a Johns Hopkins hospital there, they have a clinic, they have a lot of foreigners that come for cosmetic surgery. And so I had a lot of clients who had a lot of procedures, right? Not only that, my massage therapist for a while used to work with the cosmetic surgery doctors and give post-surgery therapy, right? So I got to ask her a lot of questions because I was really curious about all these really different treatments. So let's go through them. All right, so first one is the liposuction. Now, this is a fairly extreme and invasive and dangerous procedure, okay? Now, I've had clients who had it, who come to me after having liposuction, and it doesn't work for reducing cellulite. The reason is that, let's go back to our physiology, which is really important, that when we suck the fat out, we're still left with a problem, which is these septors, okay? Now, what happens is when this gets stretched out and bulging, these dividing chambers, the septors of protein becomes hardened, right? And so even though you reduce the volume of fat, you're still going to have this undulation, all right? Not only that, there is a risk with liposuction, which I have seen personally in the clients that I've had, that you suck out the fat unevenly, right? It's a fairly barbaric thing, right? We're sticking in this rod, and we're like a straw, and we're sucking out the fat. You've seen the you know, those real life reality TV things, right? And they shove it in there, and they, you know, and they're sucking it out. It's really kind of just really basic stuff, right? But the thing is, to suck out the fat layer evenly is a lot easier said than done. And so in the clients I've had, I can see this unevenness, right, in the skin afterwards, especially as they lose weight. Because the more weight you lose, right, the less cushioning you have. And so any imperfections become more apparent. And that's why as you lose weight, if you don't work on the integrity of your muscle layer through exercise, the cellulite can look worse. Okay, so I get these messages from women, hey, I've lost 20 pounds, I've lost 10 kilos, but my cellulite's worse. Why is that? Because the volume has been reduced, so the cushion is shrunk, but we've still got these hardened septors and this unevenness, right? And that's where you get this sponginess and flabbiness and even sagging. You know, fat is a cushion. It cushions and shapes. When you lose body fat, you're going to lose that cushioning and shape if you don't develop the integrity and firmness of your muscle layer. Okay, am I making sense? Making sense. I hope so. Good. Give me a little love and like if I'm making sense. Okay, so hang on, we've got the wrong one. I'm getting too excited. Okay, so we're back to the treatments. All right, so please, please, please don't do the liposuction, right? There is a better way, next is the laser. Now this supposedly melts the fat so it's carried away from the body. Less invasive, thanks for all the loves and likes, everybody. So laser is less invasive, right, and not as risky, but it doesn't work for the same reason, that you're not actually dealing with the root cause of the problem, which once you've had cellulite, you've got this unevenness here, and you've also got it on top of the muscle layer, right? Because it's protruding down. So these septors have been pushed, and we've got this unevenness in both areas of the skin. So next is the mesotherapy and carboxytherapy. And this is scary stuff, right? You inject chemicals into the cellulite areas. Carboxy is the carbon dioxide. I had a client, I'll never forget, and she was paranoid about her cellulite. Beautiful, beautiful girl, young girl. She was slender but had cellulite. And she came to me and we started working together. And one day she goes, Belly, I'm worried, feel my tummy. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, oh, there's all these little bubbles. And so I felt the skin, and I could feel it full of air, little tiny air bubbles. And I'm like, what the freaking heck is that? And she's like, oh, I had the carboxytherapy. And I'm like, what were you thinking? She goes, oh, I just want to look better and get rid of the cellulite. I said, I won't tell you her name for her privacy reasons, but the point is that I could feel these little air bubbles, right? So this is just not going to work, right? This is real crazy witch doctor stuff, right? Don't start injecting yourself, right, with chemicals and carbon dioxide. It's just not going to work. I'm going to give you the solution, and it's a lot easier than you think, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's safe and it's healthy, right? So the next one is subcision. Maybe you haven't heard of this one. This is an interesting one, and let me explain why. Subcision is actually a procedure that's used on scars to help minimize the appearance of the scar and help repair. And what happens is a needle goes into the scar tissue and breaks it up. And then it's actually scar tissue in the dermis here, where the springs are, and it breaks it up, and then the skin heals, and the scar is minimized. It can't ever go, but it does help to reduce the appearance. However, they use this same technique to try to reform the septa, okay, and help to get rid of these firm, hard divisions that are causing this unevenness in the skin. It's a very kind of, painful and detailed and expensive and ultimately not effective solution because you're not actually dealing with the root cause, which is 1, reducing the excess fat, and 2, firming the muscle layer. Okay, and the last thing we have is the myofascial release, okay? Now, I had some questions about this, and I wanted to say thank you to, what do we have, Paula and Stacey. They both asked me, does this help with cellulite? Now, of all the treatments, apart from what I'm going to be talking to you about, this per se isn't going to address the cellulite directly, but massage is really good for the body. And the myofascial release is dealing with the fascia, which is the sheath that covers the muscle layer. All right. Now, we can see that this is uneven because we've got these chambers of fat cells that have been enlarged, all right, and the septa. So it's trying to remodel the sheath, okay, that's over the muscle. Now, this may have a temporary benefit, and it's certainly going to help with your circulation. So remember how we talked about the importance of circulation? Circulation to bring nutrients into the skin and muscle, and stimulating the lymph system to get rid of the toxins. Now, massage is great, and any kind of deep massage is going to benefit the skin. It's going to benefit the muscle, and it's going to benefit the subcutaneous fat layer because we're helping to get rid of the toxins and we're helping to nourish, okay? Now, I wouldn't be going out spending thousands of dollars. You can use the foam roller. You can do self-massage, right, with the foam roller. It's not the solution, but it's a good adjunct, all right? It's going to work synergistically with the solution that I'm going to be sharing. So, okay, I want to know if this has made sense. I thank you so much for jumping in and joining today. I want to welcome all the newbies. If you're new to me, my name is Belinda Ben. I love helping women achieve their best body. And we're talking about transformation inside and out. Go to my blog, belindabensblog.com. You'll see a bunch of articles there. I have a program called my Get Lean program. I'll just pop that up quickly if you've just jumped on. Oops, there we go. That's going to help with the right way around. GetLeanProgram.com. And that is a 90-day nutrition plan and female-specific workouts. We'll be talking about that a little bit more in a minute. So let me just quickly jump on and see. I'm going to take some questions now, okay? And then we're going to be talking about the solution. So let me know if anything so far hasn't made sense and if you have some questions. So I want to say hi to Lynn, Tina from New Zealand, thank you. Deanna from London, lovely to have you on board today. Nikki, thank you, Nikki. Awesome. Amanda from London as well. Love my little English girls. Awesome. Ruth from Wales. Hey, love you, Ruth. Thank you for joining. Katrina from Glasgow. Awesome. We've got all my UK girls. Okay, let's keep going. What else have we got here? Yari. Thank you, Yari, for joining. Jennifer Addison, okay, do you believe in the vibration machine that you stand on and does it have any benefits? Yeah, that's a good, the vibrator machine that you stand on. The short answer is no. It's not going to do any harm. Some amount of, the stimulation of the small vibrations, maybe it's going to stimulate your blood circulation a little bit. But I think the proposed benefits are a little bit overrated. You can achieve better results by post-workout doing a really good stretching routine and using the foam roller, which is excellent as well, because that's going to help to relax the muscles, stretch them out, reduce the tension, and improve circulation post-workout. So let me just see. Okay. Oh, we got from Puerto Rico. Hello. Hola, Yari. ¿Cómo estás? Okay. So let's get on to the solution. So just to recap, I'm just going to quickly recap because I want you to be all really clear, especially for those that are just jumping on now. This is the cellulite. Now, this is healthy skin. All right, and you can see the difference, right? What are the differences? That we have this unevenness in the surface of the skin here. What is causing that? These engorged fat cells, all right, which come from, yes, gaining weight, but also from toxic buildup because fat stores fat-soluble toxins to protect our body. And so some fat cells, not all, and that was one of the questions I had, in fact. Let me just have a quick look. That was a question from Leanne for Auckland, said, I'm sure you answered this, but is cellulite really any different to any other fat that's trapped subcutaneously? So yes and no. All the fat cells are fat cells, subcutaneous fat cells, but some, for some reason, to have this propensity to become really big, all right? And that's what the ones that are going to push up against the surface of the skin. And so what happens is we get this unevenness. Instead of a nice, smooth, flat, we get this dimples, bumps, and shadows. And you can see it's also pushing down into the muscle layer. And this is the secret. This is the answer, all right? So let me get to the solution. Let me see, I've got 2 pieces of paper. Here we go. All right, so let's talk first of all. The first part to improving cellulite is to improve the health of the skin. And we want to improve the health of the skin, fat, and muscle layer through improving circulation. So remember what I said, good circulation brings all the nutrients up into the skin and helps the lymph system to remove the toxins. So good nutrition, exercise improves circulation, exfoliation, and lymphatic massage, all right? The lymph system is a system in our body that removes toxins, all right? So we've got several systems that go through our body. The blood system brings all the nutrients, right? And the lymph system is taking away the toxins. So when we improve circulation through eating the right foods, okay, when you're eating a healthy diet with minimal chemicals like additives, preservatives, sugar, those things add up in your body, the toxic load, and some of that ends up in the fat, in your fat layer, right, in the subcutaneous fat. Exercise improves circulation, getting your heart rate up, it pumps the blood around your body. Exfoliation, now this is one of the things, if you're going to do something, it's really simple, just start exfoliating 2 or 3 times a week, because what happens is, remember how I talked about the surface of the skin, right? See these little round things here, all right? These are your surface layer skin cells. Now, every 28 days, your surface of your skin renews itself. It goes through a 28-day cycle. So the skin you're seeing today was formed 28 days ago, right? So that's why when you improve your diet and you cut out the rubbish, that you start to see, in a few weeks, your complexion looks healthier. You get a healthy glow, your skin is smoother, So what happens is, with exfoliation, these little cells on the top, they're actually dead skin cells, right? By the time they reach from the bottom of the epidermis to the top, they've died and they're flattened and they're hardened. And by exfoliating your skin, you slough off the dead skin cells, and that actually stimulates cell renewal. Right, so it's stimulating the cell renewal. So your surface of your skin is going to look nice and smooth, taut, and toned. And it's going to help stimulate the blood circulation, right, underneath in the deeper layers of the skin. So exfoliation is really good. Use aromatherapy, make your own, make sure you use pure products without any preservatives and rubbish, right, and just work in small circular motions towards the heart. So start at the bottom of your legs, up, at more pressure towards the heart, lighter down. Pressure, lighter, pressure, lighter, pressure, lighter, okay? And you work up your body, okay, 2 or 3 times a week in the shower. Now, in my Bye-Bye Cellulite program, I walk you through this. I show you how to exfoliate your body and with these massage techniques, and I'll also show you how to use the lymphatic system points to help with the lymphatic drainage, to help reduce the toxic load in your body, all right? So they're 2 complementary things. They are not going to get rid of cellulite on their own, but it's like a synergy effect, right? Working together. So we're getting rid of the chemicals and rubbish in our diet so that your fat layer can start to readjust, all right? And you're going to start to get rid of these toxins, you're improving the circulation, and the lymph system is taking away, all right, the excess toxins and the excess fat. That's what happens. Then, of course, you're going to exercise. That helps to improve your circulation as well, okay, to nourish the skin and to get rid of toxins. And as I said, adding in things like exfoliation and lymphatic massage. So the next thing is, and this is the big one, all right? This, if you don't do anything, this is what you want to be doing. You want to improve your lean muscle mass to body fat ratio, all right? What does that mean? That means that we all have a percentage of body fat versus muscle, right? Now, when we look at this little diagram, here we have the muscle layer underneath. Now, at the age of 37, I had horrendous cellulite. My whole lower body was covered in it, deep pockets of cellulite. I had never exercised in my life, right? And not only that, I avoided taking the stairs. I didn't like walking any farther than, a couple of 100 meters. I just avoided any kind of physical exertion because of my childhood asthma, right? So my muscles were, what we would say, with time, muscles will atrophy, okay, which means they start to degenerate if they're not used. So as we age, our muscle will start to become weak and flaccid and mushy. And what happens is it can't support the subcutaneous fat layer or the skin layer, right? So you get this weak, mushy muscle. And then it's made worse by the accumulation of body fat and these toxins that are in the subcutaneous fat layer and this pushing, right? And there's nothing under here to support the subcutaneous fat layer. It's all mushy and soft, right? So just think about that bed or the couch that's lost the support. It's not able to create that firm, strong foundation, right? So what I did, I started exercising in my late 30s into my early 40s, and I started to improve my muscle layer. I started to develop firm, dense, strong muscles at the same time as improving my nutrition and starting to lose weight, all right? So what happened was that I was able to reduce my body fat because I was eating well and doing fat-burning workouts, and I increased my muscle density by using female-specific exercise method, a female-specific exercise method that I developed to target specifically the areas that were a problem for me, like the butt, inner outer thigh, the lower core, and address the cellulite to firm, tone, and smooth. Now, in that layer, okay, this layer here, it's made up of lots of fibers, lots and lots and lots of little fibers. Now, when that's weak, then, like I said, you've got no support. When it's firm, what happens is, look what happens. It starts to push up, the muscle starts to push up, and it flattens the subcutaneous fat layer, all right? So you start to get this smoothing effect on the surface of the skin. And this is the secret. This is the key to getting rid of cellulite. When you can develop firm, lean, toned muscle in the trouble zones, in those specific cellulite areas, you're going to see this gradual but extremely effective firming and smoothing effect on the surface of the skin. Now, I've got girls that are on the program here who are on the show today, and I know you've experienced this, right? If you're watching today and you can go, yeah, Belle, this is me, I've seen it happen, let me know in the comments, right? I'm just going to jump in now. I want to take a few questions before we get to the next little section. So, awesome. Hey, my mum's on today. Hey, Mummy, thank you for joining. Monique, Jennifer, Juliet, what exercise do I need to do? Okay, Juliet, this is a really good question. The key is, and this is really important, that most traditional workouts do not transform the body and address cellulite in the way that we, as women, we need, all right? It makes sense. If we have cellulite in our butt, if we have cellulite in our thighs or in our hamstrings and the back of our legs, under our butt is that big one, that banana area under our butt cheeks, right? Then we have to do exercises that address this issue, right? This issue, this weak muscle, all right, in that area. So I developed a system of exercises to specifically target this, and I coach you step by step on my program how to activate the muscles in the target areas. My program is the Get Lean program. We have a range of body weight workouts that can be done at home. We have free weight workouts and fusion style with a step. All the workouts can be done at home in around 30 minutes, and they're specifically designed to address the problem of cellulite in women. Because over 90% of women will experience cellulite. We have different degrees of cellulite, but most of us will have it, right? So don't feel that you're there's something odd. It's very, very common. And it's also a very common source of angst, right? And feeling really upset about when we look at our bodies in the mirror. You can get rid of cellulite, all right? But you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent with your eating, and you need to be consistent with your exercise. All right, so let me keep going. Okay, Tanya, I would love the program. Yeah, the program is awesome. And you know what's really different about this is that I'm 52 today. I transformed my body in my early 40s. This is not a program developed for someone who's 25, who's always worked out and looked great, right? There's lots of fitness models out there with amazing programs and inspiring a lot of people. But this program has been developed by someone who never exercised in their life until their late 30s, who transformed midlife, who went on to be published internationally, and become super lean, cellulite free, and I know how to do it and what it takes. And that's what my passion is, for helping you do the same, all right? So that's why I've developed the program. But not only that, it's not just downloaded. You get personalized coaching via my coaching site. We don't just leave you there to download everything and work it out on your own. You get customized, personalized coaching to help guide you with your eating and guide you with your workouts, right? So let's keep going. I want to just jump in and see if we've got any more questions about the cellulite problem and how to address it. Okay, so Alison says, hey Alison, oh I love you so much. Can you recommend what you can use to exfoliate? I'm allergic to all perfumes, which seems to be in everything. Do you have natural recipes? Yes, Alison, I do have some natural recipes. Now, if you're not, as Alison, you're already on my program, so this is for the people who are listening. Get my Bye Bye Cellulite program because it has a homemade body scrub in it. And also, Alison, message me please via the help desk and I'll get you some recipes that you can do, you can make for your own. I have a program called Super Sexy Skin, and it is an anti-aging skincare program for women because I worked for 10 years in the industry, okay? So that includes a purely natural recipe book for homemade skincare, and it has a bunch of body exfoliating treatments in it. The program also has an eating plan to balance your hormones for beautiful skin. It has a shiatsu massage section to help revitalize, firm and tone your face, okay, from the inside out. You don't need to have the cosmetic surgery. You can do the shiatsu pressure points, right, and revitalize your skin that way. And so that program deals all things to do with skin from a natural approach, all right? So just, there's some beautiful, beautiful scrubs you can make with the ground coffee, okay? And I'll put some recipes. I should put a link to some recipes. If you're interested in the recipes, pop me in the comment, and then I'll send you a link after we finish the show today. All right, so I hope that helped, Alison. Hey, Belle. Deborah says, hey, Belle, I'm on the Get Lean program and loving it. Awesome. Love to hear that. Was also in the beauty skincare business for many years, and it's so refreshing to hear you telling the truth out there. Oh, that's so nice of you. Keep up the good work. Mwah. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Exactly. There's just so much misinformation out there, right? And so much exploiting our fears, right, to get money from us, to offer solutions that actually don't work. And so I'm giving you the answer today. I'm giving this the solution. And okay, it's not the quick fix, go in and get a bit of fat sucked out, go in and get a laser, go in and get some odd body wrap or some machine, the VeloShape machine, that's going to suck up the skin and stretch it. Why would we want to do that, right? There is a better way. And that's through working with the skin physiology, right? To create a firm, toned muscle layer, a healthy subcutaneous fat layer, and a healthy surface skin. So when we firm the muscle and improve the density, it helps to flatten the subcutaneous fat layer, firm it, helps the septa to reform, okay, and smooth the surface of the skin, right? This stuff works, right? I've been coaching women now for, I think, around 5 years. I have so many success stories of women who have dramatically improved their cellulite simply through exercise and good nutrition, right? None of this other stuff. Exercise and good nutrition, but female-specific workouts that target the cellulite areas. That's the key. Not just your regular traditional weight training, for example, or HIIT, or circuits, or boot camps, or CrossFit. It has to be exercises that are stimulating the muscle density in the trouble zones, in the target areas. I mean, it makes sense, right? Hello? It's not rocket science, but it just takes somebody sometimes for that aha moment to go, of course. Like, why am I doing a CrossFit workout when I'm trying to target cellulite on my butt and hamstrings? You're going to do lower body toning exercises that are stimulating the muscle density, specifically in the glutes and in the hamstrings, to firm that muscle area, flatten the fat layer, and smooth the surface of the skin, right? Makes sense. Okay, Suze. Hey, Suze. Great to see you here today. Awesome. I'll send you that link. Renee. What else have we got here? Jamie. Thank you for joining, Jamie. Okay, Julie, yes, please check out the Get Lean program. If you've got any questions at all, just send me a private message via my page, and I would love to help you and coach you on the program. Megan, okay, awesome. Sharon, thank you. Claire, oh, we got lots of people with the recipes. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, Donna, how many reps and what weight do you believe in that work and tone the muscle faster and lift fast or slow? Okay, that's actually a really good question. Just, I'm going to repeat that. Donna's saying, how many reps and what weight do I believe is necessary to tone the muscles? And should we go faster or slower? Really good question. Just starting with the fast and slow, the faster movements, the more dynamic, are really good for fat burning. So I have a lot of full body routines, and we have some faster, explosive, plyometric type moves that are going to get your heart rate up, get you sweating, and that's going to burn a ton of calories. To develop the muscle density or muscle tone, we need to go slower. We need to stimulate the formation of new muscle fibers. And often that's the feeling of the burn, right? Now, when you slow down a movement, it's a lot harder. When you go fast in a movement, gravity will help you because you're moving, and so gravity pulls you down. If you go slow and you resist, okay, the muscle fibers are working harder. Motion helps you. When you go fast, the motion helps you, right? If you're going fast, you get this natural rocking or movement, which actually assists you. So when you slow it right down, your muscles have to work harder. Your balance has to work harder, and you're going to stimulate the muscles at a deep level. Now, the key is doing exercises that stimulate the muscles from a three-dimensional aspect. All right, we want to, and a lot of exercises, if they limit the range of motion and they're not challenging your balance, don't do this. But that's why I use a lot of body weight moves, particularly for the lower body workouts, because just something, as my girls know who are on the program, just something as simple as doing a lunge forward and back and not touching in the middle is very challenging, and it's going to stimulate the muscles, quads, hamstrings, glutes, okay, your core, tremendously to help firm and shape and tone. And I remember when I first started doing this style of workout that I now favour on my program and for female-specific workouts, I was shocked how hard it was. You know, I'd done heavy weight training, I'd done a lot of Smith machine work, I'd done a lot of free bar weights with the Olympic bar, with heavy weight squats, all that kind of heavy stuff. And I just wasn't seeing the improvement in my lower body that I wanted. And I thought, you know, I'm killing myself here. but I'm not getting results. There's got to be a better way. And I started experimenting with the body weight workouts, because when you're having to balance, all the stabilizing muscles are working really hard, right? They're all being stimulated and working really hard. So you're getting like a synergy effect. It's not just the power muscles that are working hard, it's the stabilizing muscles. So you get this kind of 2-in-1. So, you know, all my girls know that we mix it up. We do body weight, we do weights, we do some step work, we do some medicine work, we do the fat burning cardio work, but we do this slower, very focused and very highly technical actually body weight movements. And so on my program I coach you through this. You're going to learn how to do it properly, because technique is everything. It's that mind to muscle connection that's going to make the difference. All right, let me quickly jump in and see what we've got. Now's your chance to ask your questions, because we're going to be finishing up in just a minute. Let's just quickly say hi. What is the program called? That's from Helen, getleanprogram.com. All right, you can pop it in, check it out. Send me a message via my page if you'd like to know more about it. It's a 90-day eating plan. And we have a ton of workouts, and it's a female-specific program. Female-specific. So that's why cellulite is one of my hot topics, because it affects, you know, around 80 to 90% of women. So I've got a ton of workouts on the program that are going to help to address cellulite. Now, if your eating is okay, right, if your eating's okay and you just want a workout to address cellulite, that's my little alarm that we have to finish, then look at my Bye Cellulite program. I'm going to put the links once I finish the show. There's my Bye Cellulite program. It's just a workout, a follow-along workout to address lower body cellulite. It comes with that exfoliating treatment that I mentioned, and shows you how to do the lymphatic massage. Now, the follow-along workout for Bye Cellulite is included in the Get Lean program. I've just added it to my library on my coaching website. So if you get the Get Lean program that has the 90-day eating plan, plus this ton of workouts for addressing cellulite, firming the lower body, lifting the butt, inner outer thigh, saddlebags, lower abs, all the trouble zones for women, you're going to get the Bye Cellulite workout as well, because that just comes, I've just added it into the library as a special bonus, because I knew I was going to be doing this live show. So let me see. Claire, yes, I've got my other questions. That's a good question. Claire says, how long to see results from doing these exercises? Really good question. And I had another question from Jennifer. She wrote in about the same, how long to see results? Now, this is really important, that you've got to think about this, right? We're working on the muscle layer. Okay, this muscle layer here. We're developing new muscle fibers. We're also getting rid of the toxins. Now, remember how I said it's a 28-day cycle here on the surface of the skin? It's something similar in the muscle. We need to give ourselves at least 4 weeks of being consistent, and that's a minimum of exercising 3 times a week, okay, for around 30 minutes to start seeing results. And I found for myself and many of my clients that you then go in 4-week phases. All right, it's like takes 4 weeks to get the most out of your routine, and then you're going to see, you kind of see these milestones every 4 weeks. All right, so that's why it's a 3-month program. We've got 3 4-week phases in the program, and momentum, acceleration, and peak. And we take you through. So by the end of the 3 months, you're going to be really seeing and feeling the differences. So give yourself 4 weeks of being consistent. Just be patient, because you've got to think about it. You're restructuring your body, right? You're reforming this muscle layer to help firm and shape and smooth. So you're now going to have this nice, firm, toned, supportive layer for the fat and the skin, right? Just like the springs of the couch, giving you that lovely firmness. When you sit down, you don't kind of just sag into it and it's all soft and you know, like all uneven. You've got this strong, firm, supporting muscle layer. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay, Megan. Hey, Megan. Megan's my awesome assistant. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're having a great weekend. Donna, thanks, Bill. I've been lifting weights, not getting much results as I've been wanting, so I feel I have the concept of what I was doing wrong. Awesome, Donna. So Donna's saying she's been lifting weights. She's like, why isn't it working? You know, and I killed myself away. I did traditional bodybuilding when I started, right? And I just, killed myself in the gym, and I just didn't see the changes that I wanted. And it wasn't until I started doing these fusion style mix of body weight and free weight training that I've put together for the program that I personally used for my transformation with my clients, that I started seeing the results I wanted. And that's why I just get really excited about this stuff, because I know it works, okay? All right, so let's see, Alyssa and Jenny, Robert. We've got one bloke on. Hello, Robert, how you going? All right, awesome. So thank you, everybody, for joining today. We've covered a lot of material. Let's just summarize, all right? So we talked about what is cellulite, right? Now, cellulite is formed in the subcutaneous fat layer. It's engorged fat cells that happen through gaining weight, through a toxic buildup. But the problem is that then it causes this distension, right? This distension in the skin, this unevenness in the skin. And then the influencing factors we talked about, we said that genetics can play a part, hormones, circulation, nutrition, and lack of exercise, because the muscle layer becomes atrophied over time. So aging has an influence as well. We then talked about the treatments. We talked about things like liposuction, injections, VeloShape, all these things that are they're actually just dealing with this surface, right? They're not dealing with the muscle layer. And that's where everyone gets misled. They're focusing on the wrong area. When we fix the muscle layer, you're going to fix this problem. It's that simple, right? So that's the solution, right? We need to improve our circulation through good nutrition, avoiding sugar, rubbish, chemical additives, improving our body circulation. There are topical things you can do, like your exfoliation and massage. But the real key and the long-term solution is building that muscle density here in the bottom, right? So start pushing up here so we get this flattened fat layer and this smooth surface of the skin. So thank you so much for everyone for joining today. I've really loved sharing. We covered some really in-depth stuff. So go back and watch it, make some notes. I hope it's helped the kind of aha moment to come on for you, right? You need to deal with the muscle layer. When we firm the muscle layer, it's going to push up, flatten the fat layer, and smooth the surface of the skin. So thank you for joining. Just remember, everybody, you know what? Keep following your dreams. Don't ever give up on your dreams, all right? Believe in yourself. You can do this. So I really appreciate you being here today. I'm going to go back. I'll answer all your questions, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next time.